There is a particular kind of pain that comes from loving two things that both need all of you. You love your business, you love your family, and no matter how hard you try to balance them, there are days when you feel like you're doing both halfway. You're showing up to your work distracted by what's happening at home, and you're showing up at home distracted by what's waiting in your business. And the guilt runs in both directions, does it not? You feel it when you're working, and you feel it when you're not. You've been trying to balance two separate lives instead of building one aligned life, one harmonious one. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I'm your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. I want to describe someone to you. She's capable. She shows up. When something needs to get done, she gets it done. And she gets it done well. Her business is growing. Her family is taken care of. From the outside, her life looks like a lot to be grateful for. She's also exhausted in a way that she doesn't fully let anyone see. Not the kind of exhausted you can fix with a good night's sleep. The kind that's been building for years. The kind that comes from being everything to everybody for so long that she's not totally sure who she is when no one needs anything from her. She doesn't say this out loud because who is she going to complain to? Or who is she to complain? She has a good life. She knows that. So she keeps moving. She keeps delivering. She keeps showing up for her clients, for her family, for her team with a smile that mostly is real and partly performance. And somewhere in those quiet moments, the drive home alone, the shower in the morning, the 10 minutes before she falls asleep, she lets herself wonder, is this it? Or when does it get to feel easier? When do I get to actually start living my life versus performing my way through life? If I just described you even a little, this episode is for you because I've been her and I coach her. And I want to talk today about what it looks like to return to her, not by doing less or giving up your ambition, because I haven't done those two things, but by finally building a life that's actually by design for you. So let's dive in. Here's something I've noticed in the years of coaching. So I have been coaching women for 2 decades, high achieving women. The more capable you are, the longer you wait to ask for help. And there's a trap that high achievers fall into that I call proving energy. You've heard me talk about that here on the podcast, like proving that you deserve a seat at the table, proving that you can be successful, proving that you are the mom, the business owner, like fill in the blank. It's the constant quiet hum of needing to demonstrate to yourself and to others that you can handle it, that you're enough, that you don't need to be rescued or supported or carried. And it's exhausting, even when it's invisible. It shows up as the woman who says, I'm fine, when she's not. This just came up on a client's pro scan. And it was the classic thing that shows up on the pro scan where, like, her satisfaction was rated high, but she had all of this drain happening. I'm like, this is the classic example of I'm fine. I'm faking fine, as one of my friends would say, on the outside, but on the inside, she's like dying a slow death. She's doubting everything. She's wondering if she's measuring up. She's wondering if she's a good mom, if she's being a good business owner. But she's saying, I'm fine when she's not. She's the one who figures it out herself instead of asking. She's the person who invests in her business before she invests in herself, who tells herself she'll slow down when she hits the next milestone and then hits it and then moves the milestone, moves the mile marker. Proving energy is sneaky, friends, because it looks a lot like strength from the outside. And sometimes it is. But underneath it is almost always a woman who has tied her worth to her output, who believes somewhere deep that she has to earn her place in her business, in her relationships, in her own life. And here's the painful part. The very things that made her successful are the same things that are keeping her stuck. The same things that made me successful and are making me successful can also keep me stuck. The drive that built her business keeps her from resting. It did for me for many years. The discipline, I'm so disciplined. The discipline that achieves her goals keeps her from enjoying them because you're so disciplined and everything you do has to have a productive end. You just keep going and you're not giving yourself time to like enjoy and celebrate the goal you just accomplished. The self-sufficiency that everyone admires her for is keeping her from receiving support because she's self-sufficient. She doesn't need anybody. She's Miss Dependable. She can handle it. She's the strong one. And I'm not saying any of this to diagnose you or put you in a box. I'm saying it because I've lived it. And because I know that the moment a woman names this pattern and really sees it clearly for what it is, something starts to shift. You cannot outachieve your way into alignment. I've tried, believe me. It just doesn't work. What works is getting clearer and clearer about who you actually are, what you actually want, and building your life from there. So I want to speak to the mompreneurs for a minute, which is most of you, because this one is close to my heart. There is a particular kind of pain that comes from loving two things that both need all of you. You love your business, you love your family, and no matter how hard you try to balance them, there are days when you feel like you're doing both halfway. You're showing up to your work distracted by what's happening at home, and you're showing up at home distracted by what's waiting in your business. And the guilt runs in both directions, does it not? You feel it when you're working, and you feel it when you're not. And a lot of the advice out there of like just set better boundaries, which yes, we need boundaries. The time block your calendar. Yes, you've heard me talk about that a good bit on here to block out your calendar and your time. It does help a little, but it doesn't get to the root. The root, in my experience, is this. You've been trying to balance two separate lives instead of building one aligned life, one harmonious one. Work-life balance implies two things on either side of the scale, constantly competing. And we've gone into great detail on this podcast about it being harmony is the goal and that balance is a trap. So what I help women build instead of that work-life balance is that work-life harmony and rhythm, a life where your ambition and your family don't have to fight for first place because you've designed it so that both can actually coexist. So when you think about harmony and rhythm and you think about going to a symphony or hearing the orchestra play, there's all different kinds of instruments playing. You have a really loud tuba playing. At the same time, you have a really soft flute playing. And they make the most harmonious and beautiful sound, right? That's what I want you to think about when you think about your work and your life. Very few times is it ever going to be 50-50, right? The balance. But there are seasons of my life where my family is the tuba and I'm playing it loud and I'm playing it proud. And that doesn't mean that the flute's not playing my business. It just means that it's not the loudest thing that I'm focusing on. And then there are seasons where My business is the tuba, and I'm getting ready to go into that season. I just graduated my youngest, and he's going to be going away to college, and my oldest is also transitioning in his life. And so we're getting ready to be empty nesters, and I'm going to be playing my business loud and proud. That doesn't mean I don't still care about my family, and I'm not still spending time with my husband, and I'm not still spending time with my kids, but I'm creating a different rhythm. So that's the goal. And what that looks like is different for every woman because it depends on your strengths, on your energy, on your family's actual needs, and what you genuinely value. Not what you think you should value, but what you genuinely value. And when we do a life audit together in my coaching, this becomes abundantly clear. What is the tuba? What is the flute? But it is possible because I live it and I help women create it every day. And that's the first thing, or the first step, is you have to believe it's possible. I just got off a clarity call with a potential client, and I can paint the most vivid picture and I can give you the clear, doable process, but you have to believe it's possible, even just 10% possible, because you can borrow my other 90% belief for you. But you have to be thinking impossibility. You can't be thinking, oh, that will never happen. That can't happen for me. That's really good for her, but it doesn't happen for me. Like, no, we cannot be engaging in those thoughts, or you're just going to create more of that. So I know I have a lot of direct sellers also that listen, and maybe you're a team leader. And I see you specifically because you know I was in direct selling for 16 years. There's an enormous amount of pressure in your world to perform, to be magnetic, motivated, and consistent, publicly, visibly, all the time, to model the life that your products and opportunity promises, to be proof that it works. And when you're not feeling it, when you're depleted or doubting yourself or going through a hard season, that pressure gets very, very heavy, because the gap between who you're performing to be and who you actually are starts to widen. And that's what started happening towards the end of my career, and where I started feeling like I was out of alignment with my assignment and who I needed to be and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to create. Just they weren't in alignment anymore. So you cannot fake alignment long term. I tried. I really did, because I'm loyal and it didn't make sense. And it was scary to think about shifting and transitioning out of a 16-year successful, highly profitable business. But you can't fake enthusiasm. But you can fake confidence. But the woman on your team and the customers you're trying to reach, they feel the difference. They know when you're being real and authentic and when you're faking it. They do. It comes across in your emails. It comes across in how you present. It comes across in how you lead your teams. Authentic leadership attracts. Performed leadership repels eventually. Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You Coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality and performance tool called the ProScan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode. So when you know your natural leadership style, the way you're actually designed to communicate, to motivate, to connect, you stop trying to lead like your upline and you start leading like yourself. And then something opens up in your team that no training or script could create. When your business is built around your strengths instead of a generic duplicatable system, like we hear that a lot in direct sales, be duplicatable. And I get that. And I think there are some duplicatable systems. But when you're building your business around your strengths, you're building something sustainable. something you can maintain, not just in the good season, but in the hard ones. Because if you've not been in direct sales or if you're not in entrepreneurship, it's having you on a roller coaster. There are ups and downs, there are good seasons, there are valley seasons, there are highlights, there are lows, really lows. And if you have something sustainable, you can maintain it in all of those seasons. And when you're aligned, when your life and your work actually fit together, the energy that you bring to your business, that is genuinely magnetic. That's the other thing I was just talking to a potential client about. Like, your energy in your business is everything. It will have people be attracted to you, or it will repel people. So when you bring that kind of energy, it's not manufactured or performed. Like, it's genuine, it's real. And that's what builds real things. That's what keeps you excited about the business. That's what keeps you moving forward. That's what keeps you, you know, changing your marketing or doing your marketing or doing your selling and working on all of those things that are required as an entrepreneur. There's no bypassing any of that as an entrepreneur. Like, you're choosing, when you choose, I told the woman today, when you choose entrepreneurship, you're choosing to learn how to be in sales. You're choosing to learn how to be good at marketing. You're choosing to learn how to deliver on what you said that you would. And there's self concepts built into all of those. So I want to close this episode the same way I kind of started it, by speaking to the woman who has it together on the outside and is holding it together by a thread on the inside. And you're faking fine. And I want you to know that I see you, not the version you show everyone else, the real one. I can see it. I can spot it in a room. The one who's tired of proving, the one who misses herself, the one who wants to just be able to wake up in the morning and breathe, like take a deep breath and not feel the heaviness, to feel the peace, to feel the calm. I know the one who has been so busy being what everyone else needs that she's not sure what she needs anymore. I want you to know that what you're feeling is real. And it's what happens when an ambitious, capable, caring woman has been operating on the expectations of others, of someone else's strengths and someone else's definition of success for too long. And I want you to know that there is a way back to the fun, confident, energized, excited, passionate woman. And not by giving up your ambition. That's usually what happens. And this is why women are closing their doors on their businesses, because they got into the business because their family is the priority. But no one's taught you how to sustain yourself and your family and your personal life while you have this ambition and passion for business. They taught you how to build the business, but not how to sustain yourself while you're building the business. And I would never ask you to give up your ambition, because that's just who you are, right? But by building your ambition on a foundation of who you actually are and what you actually want is the key. And that's what I help you do. Your real strengths, your true priorities, your own definition of what success looks like and feels like. Because, it's not just about what you achieve, it's about how you feel while you're achieving it. If you're like carrying mom guilt and you are feeling like it's never enough, you're never enough, like all of those things, and you reach the goal, like that's a pretty bad way to feel on the journey. And every day you do that, every day you live in the overwhelm and the scarcity and the guilt, is a day you can't get back. And none of you deserve that. You all deserve to be able to be ambitious about your family and be ambitious about your work. And that's the work that I do. And I do it one woman at a time, because this work deserves that level of attention, which is why I have one-on-one coaching with Illuminate You Coaching. And right now I have 2 spots open. I just had another spot come open today. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while and something keeps pulling you back into the podcast or pulling you back into these concepts that I've been talking about, and you've been watching and wondering and guessing and trying to figure out if it's your time, don't ignore that nudge. And don't feel like you have to be all in, all yes right now. Just get on a clarity call so that you can talk about where you're at with someone who will truly listen in a judgment-free zone, who wants to see you be successful in both places, work and home, and get really clear on what it is that you want. It's just an amazing opportunity for you. And you can go to martinewilliams.com/clarity, or you can go to the show notes. We'll have them in there. No pressure on the call. It's such a valuable call because of the clarity that you'll receive. And you will walk away knowing exactly what the problem is, exactly what the solution is, and exactly how to get there and what you want. So if you're ready for that and you want to take a next step, that's it. martinewilliams.com/clarity. Go book your clarity call. I hope you're enjoying these podcast episodes. We are not taking a break, but with graduation, and I'm going on vacation. And well, by the time this comes out, I've already been on vacation and back. But we have had like a little lull in interviews, but I will be bringing some of those back probably into June or July. And I'm looking forward to bringing more guests back on. If you know someone that you think would be a great guest for the podcast, my inbox is full of people who want to get on the podcast, but I always love your suggestions as well. So thank you so much for always being here on the podcast, listening. And I'm believing in you always, and I'll catch you on our next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.